Hi friends, Mindy here. I am going to do a flip through of my 100 days project. I'm actually going to be flipping through the first 50 days because as at this point, that's all I have completed. I did not continue on doing a daily project through the 100 days. I started and I was doing really well, and then because I was filming everything and I just was not able to keep up. I had some other projects that I was working on and everything, and so I've still been working on them periodically. I just haven't been doing them in consecutive days, which is fine with me. For my 100-day project, I'm working on these memory dex cards. I'm using this beautiful box from Precious Memory Boxes. If she still has some in the shop, I will link her Etsy store down below. But the parameters that I set for myself for my 100-day project were to use up my scraps, and I had 15 minutes to complete each card, and if it wasn't finished, it wasn't finished. And so some of these are finished and some of them are not. Some of them were just experiments. Some of them I like and some of them I don't. I do have process videos, I think, for maybe the first 30 to 35 cards, like I did, several days worth in one video. It just got to be a little much trying to record all of those every single day, but and then I kind of felt like everything was just maybe getting a little bit redundant because I was, basically I felt like I was doing the same things over and over again on camera. So but let me know as I'm going through here if you would like to continue to see process videos of making these little memory dex cards utilizing my scraps, and I will start filming them again. So I have just a few extra projects that at the time, anyway, that doesn't matter. So the 100-day project is officially technically over for this year, but I will be completing the rest of my cards just because I don't want to leave a project half finished. So I will do my 100 days. It's just going to take me, in terms of the calendar, a little longer than 100 days, but I'll just go ahead and start flipping through here. This is day one. Again, these first 30 or 35 or so, I do have process videos for. So this one was just a little bit of collage. And I also, if you didn't catch my setup video, I had created basically all of the backgrounds before I started. So I had used some scrapbook paper, I had done some collage master boards, I had used some pattern paper, I even had just have some plain white like mixed media paper in here. I just wanted a variety of substrates to work on, and so that's what I did. And I was just using a variety of things. Here I actually used a drop paper in the background and then just kind of painted around it. Here I was using some ephemera pieces that I got in a subscription kit. This card is trying to use up some scraps from Simple Stories. I think it's called Oh Happy Day, I think was the set. Again, I tend to like save all my scraps and things, and so they accumulate rapidly, as you can imagine. And so I just wanted to use different things that I haven't seen, haven't had in my stash in a long time. This one were some stickers that I got years ago, and I just used the little stickers to create a background paper here, and then made my little collage and added my little coffee clip. If you know me, you know I love coffee, so this was a fun card. And then, like some of them, I just have some collage, and I also used the Artist Almanac calendar. I have one of those, and so some of those will show up periodically. This one was just a really simple, I was just feeling doodly this day, and so this is actually pattern paper that I used, and I used my Posca paint pens and just doodled and colored in, and it was really a good way to kind of relax. And so there's just a variety of different things and different techniques. This was some leftover bits from a journal that I had created. This one, there's not a lot on this card because this card I was experimenting with some fiber paste and acrylic inks, and this is the background that I ended up with. But by the time all of that had dried and everything, I didn't have a whole lot of time to do much else, so I added some washi, and that was that. So this one is this was scrapbook paper, and I just did the negative kind of painting around it and then doodled a little bit. I had been hoarding this, this was a seed packet for a long time, and I just collaged that on here with this, again, some pattern paper, like scrapbook paper in the background. And then some of them were just like things that I wanted to save. I had been saving or hoarding a little bit or scrap because it was my favorite thing, like this one. This is one of my favorite pattern papers. I can't explain why I love this pattern paper so much. I just do. I think it's a Studio Calico pattern paper, and I had this piece that I had been saving, and so I thought, what better way to kind of do that than to just make a card, and then I can always have it to look at. And then I came across a quote that I had been reminded of. This is one of my favorite quotes, and so I just added that on a little label, and that was a simple card, but that was day 19. And then I had some other items that I just created a little collage here, a lot of just scrapbooking ephemera and stuff. This is a card that I was kind of stuck on, actually. This was a pattern paper, and I was trying to make it less busy in the background, so I added some washi. I added, you know, just a bunch of different things, and I just kind of ran out of time. So I would say this one is like one of those ones that I didn't actually get completed, but in keeping with my 15-minute time frame, I really wanted to kind of keep myself restrained. Otherwise, these projects would go on because I know myself and I would just fiddle with them. This one actually turned out is one of my favorite cards. This was a card, one of those artist almanac pages, and then I just kind of continued the patterns out onto this card. This one, again, stuff that I have hoarded. This star came, I had this star in my stash for years and years and years, and it was part of a different ephemera piece, and I just broke that down and just saved the star and used some pattern paper. And then, you know, there are some that I, again, just trying to use up bits and pieces. There are some that I love. This one I don't love at all, to be really honest. It did not come out how I had it in my mind, and that's okay, that happens. This one this is actually, I think, some Vicky Bouton paper, and then I have a die cut that had the hexagons, and this is just like a handmade paper, and so I just continued the little honeycomb on the outside, and I actually like how that turned out. I would have done more excuse me, if I had been able to, but again, you know, it was time constraint. So this is a beautiful handmade paper that I got from a local art store that I just used a little bit of it on here. Again, using up some Simple Stories scraps on this really brightly colored card. So I have a, you know, variety of, you know, kind of bright and whimsical and vintage and just all kinds of different things. But that was just, and it kind of just depended on what I felt like working on those days. This one is actually some leftover stickers that I had from By the Will for God devotional, and they were just so beautiful. Again, I didn't want to just, you know, hide them away or whatever, so I just used them on there. And then this one, I think I have process videos for all of these up to this point. Yeah, this is 31. Even this one, because this was one that I created. I was kind of around the time of the anniversary of my dad's passing, and so this card is really kind of about him. He worked for Union Pacific Railroad, and so we used to play cards all the time. When I was growing up, my dad always played games with me as a kid and stuff, and so it's just, those are my really fond memories of time spent with my dad. And so this card is just kind of representative of that. This little train here is a punch, and I actually made his invitations to his retirement party, and so these were on there, and so I just included those because I was just kind of missing him. And so, you know, what I worked on each day kind of depended on, you know, how I was feeling, what I kind of wanted to do. These are some pieces that, these were from one of my favorite paper collections, which was the Simple Vintage Traveler from Simple Stories, I think is what it's called. And I loved, in fact, I have, through the years, I have actually purchased the set a couple different times because I just really love it. And so I just have a little, like, odds and ends, and so I wanted to create a little card with them. This is one where I would say I did not get finished. This is a Tim Holtz, like, flash card. I had collaged a bunch of different things in the background, and I was kind of just stuck trying to figure out something to do, and then I kind of ran out of time. So I added some tickets so I would have some kind of focal point on there, and then I had to move on. This next one is one I don't really care for. I was trying to incorporate a few things. These are some Maggie Holmes stickers from a sticker book. Again, if I had more time, but I ran out of time because I was struggling with this card. You know, sometimes you sit down to create and you just don't feel very creative, and you know, things happen and they just don't turn out the way that you want. So this card, on the other hand, I actually ended up really liking. I was inspired by this kind of leaf design, and so I took several of the artist almanac pages and I made these leaves out of those. and then I glued them on a background page, and then I just went around with a Stabilo pencil, and I actually really like how that turned out. This one, I had a bunch of these little scraps of craft cardstock, and I was trying to kind of mute down this really busy background, and I was just kind of feeling some kind of way that day, I guess. So I ended up just gluing them down kind of randomly, and which was what I had in mind when I had all those little bits and pieces of scraps. And then I went through with some bubble wrap, and then just added some white pen marks, just kind of adding, just, you know, I figured just go all in with the busyness for that card. This was actually a Tim Holtz chipboard sentiment piece, and I just peeled back the top layer, or the top maybe couple layers, so it's not quite as thick. They're actually pretty chunky, and so I just felt like that would fit better in here. And so don't be afraid to do that with your chipboard. You can usually pull off some layers if you need to. And this was a Tim Holtz acetate butterfly, and this was a background that I had already done, so this was just a really simple card. I was kind of stuck on what to do with it, but I wanted to include it, so I just made a really simple card on that day. This day I wanted to use these little mini people from Tim Holtz. I have just recently purchased these, and so I haven't used a lot of the Tim Holtz people before, and so I'm just trying to kind of get in, you know, figure out how to use those. And so I parked these little guys on this journaling card that I had in my stash, and just added a few other little elements. I actually really like how that ended up. That was day 38. Day 39 is one I would say is probably not finished, and also not my favorite. I was trying to use up some pattern paper, and these are some Maggie Holmes stickers, but again, I was just kind of flipping, trying to decide what I wanted to do. And you know, 15 minutes isn't really a lot of time when you're looking for things. If you have an idea, it's not too bad. But this card, this is one of the Artist Almanac pages, and I love this little girl. I don't know if you can see her. I just think she's so cute, her little her little face. And so I just kind of stuck her on the end. I did some collage in the background, and then I just put Fearless because I just think that that's how she looks, and she's just so cute. So anyway, moving on. This is day 41. These are some other just stickers and stuff that I was just trying to use up. I think this is still from that same Maggie Holmes. I have like a sticker book that I'm just trying to get through. And I was given some like washi samples, and so I was wanting to use those as well. And so that's what's down here at the bottom. I just trying to add some stickers and use up those as much as possible. And then this card is another one of those ones where I started out liking where it was going, and then I hit that part in the middle where I wasn't so crazy about it, but by that time my 15 minutes was up, and so I couldn't kind of come back and save it, I guess. Otherwise I would have added a few more layers or whatever, but that's okay. Again, with some washi tape I was just trying to use up, and some stickers. These are again from that Maggie Holmes sticker book. This is another one of the cards. This is a beautiful image from By the Will for God from one of their past devotional kits, and I have been singing this song from Lauren Daigle. I've had it like just playing on repeat for, I don't know, for days at this point. And so I just went ahead and put the title because I felt like I would just document, you know, what was on my brain that day or those days, which was that particular song. And then these are some more of those vintage traveler pieces from Simple Stories. And then I just have some like vintage, or not vintage, this is that linen tape from Tim Holtz in the background, and just a really, really busy background. And I just really wanted to save some of these pieces, so I just made a really busy collage on that day. That's just what I was feeling. This is actually a pattern paper that had been cut down, so I didn't draw anything on here. I just went in and colored it with my Posca paint pens and added a little sticker here, and that was it. That's day 45. And then these are some more ephemera pieces. I store my ephemera pieces in the little CD, like little paper CD cases, and so I just kind of went through a bunch of them because I'm trying to make more room and like use up my stash. So I just kind of went through and picked out one that spoke to me that day, and I just started making a little scene here. I love this little bike. It's so cute. So, and then the same with this Vicky Bouton pattern paper. I just felt like these went really well with that, and I love this little paper airplane with the little tail behind it. I actually really like how this card turned out, and this one was one of those ones that just took me just a few minutes because I had these big images that worked really well together. So I basically just glued a few things down and called it a day for that card. Here's another one where I'm trying to use up these were the same stickers, you can see, from the same sticker pack there, or ephemera pack. Just making a little collage. Then I went a little bit vintage on this one with, these are some papers from, or some items from a Your Creative Studio subscription kit that I was getting for a few months. I'm not getting that one anymore, but and then this is a Tim Holtz piece here. And then this is my last card. This is a Vicky Bouton pattern paper again. I had like a 12 by 12 that I cut up to make these cards, and again I was like just trying to figure out different things that I could do, and then time ran out, so I just created a little cluster over here. Again, I would say this card is not finished, but my 15 minutes was up. So anyway, so that's my first 50 cards of the 100-day project. If you liked this video, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Let me know again down in the comments if you would like to see more process videos for these cards as I move forward, because I do intend on finishing the rest of the 50 cards. So you can see I have my bases here ready to go. So anyway, just let me know your ideas down in the bottom, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until next time, bye.